Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss about the palatine tonsil. As I already mentioned here, it is a very important short note for any exam, whether the internal exams of the college or even the university exam. Apart from that, it is very much important because tonsillitis, that is the inflammation of the palatine tonsil, is very much common in children, and we experience or we have the patients very commonly in our OPDs complaining of tonsillitis. That's why it is very important to learn about palatine tonsil. So as always, the palatine tonsil can be discussed under the headings of introduction, location, that is the area where it is present, that is called as the tonsillar fossa or tonsillar sinus, the external features of the tonsil, the relations, mainly the tonsillar bed, which can also be asked as the one-liner or 2 marks question, or some of the parts can be asked as the MCQs from it. The blood supply, venous drainage, lymphatic drainage, nerve supply and applied anatomy. So the palatine tonsil is basically, if you recover the lectures of oral cavity, you might have come across this word, that it is present between the 2 folds. So which are those 2 folds? So introduction wise, it is an almond shaped mass of lymphoid tissue situated on the lateral wall of the oropharynx on each side. This you have even seen in my previous lecture of pharynx. Also you have seen the location of this thing in the lecture of oral cavity. It is one of the first line defense mechanisms in our body with respect to food. The food whatever is entering through it, through the oral cavity, the microorganisms are being catched or they are being prevented from entering into the food pipe by this palatine tonsils. The location, it is the tonsillar fossa. This diagram which we have seen last time, it is bounded on the upper aspect by the soft palate. The anteriorly and posteriorly there are the 2 folds or the arches. The anterior arch is called as the palatoglossal fold and the posterior one is called as the palatopharyngeal fold. So seeing it in more details, so this is how it is located. This is the upper part, that is the soft palate. On the lower aspect, or you can say medial aspect, there is tongue, and there are 2 folds within which there is presence of this tonsil. So the anterior fold, this one, it is called as the palatoglossal arch or the anterior pillar, and it consists of a muscle, that is the palatoglossus. Similarly, on the posterior aspect we have got another fold, that is the palatopharyngeal arch or the posterior pillar, and the muscle present in it is palatopharyngeus. The upper part where both the folds meet, that part is called as the apex of the tonsillar fossa, and the lower part where the tonsil is separated slightly from the tongue, that part is called as the base. So tonsillar fossa has got an apex, it has got a base and 2 pillars, the anterior pillar formed by the palatoglossal fold and the posterior pillar which is formed by the palatopharyngeal fold. So tonsillar fossa is where the tonsil is located. Coming to the external features, we can describe it in the forms of poles, borders and surfaces. So beginning with the poles, as you can see in this diagram, how many poles are there? This will be the one pole and this will be the second pole. So it has got an upper pole which is near the apex and the lower pole which is towards the base. The upper pole is separated from the apex by a semilunar fold here, and that space which is there between the upper pole and the apex of the tonsillar fossa, it is called as supratonsillar fossa. Similarly, near the base, lower pole, there is a ligament which is suspending or you can say fixing the tonsil to the tongue. So that ligament is called as the suspensory ligament of tonsil. Now you might be thinking why this ligament is required. But this ligament has got a very important role of keeping the tonsil in its position when we are swallowing. So when we are swallowing our food, if this ligament would have not been there, the tonsil might have moved. but the tonsil is being fixed by this ligament. Coming to the borders, as you can see, it will not be clearly seen, but the border which is lying beneath the anterior pillar or the palatoglossal fold, that border is called as the anterior border, and the one which is lying towards the palatopharyngeal arch, that border will be called as the posterior border. Surface is the medial surface which is facing towards the oral cavity, which catches the organisms from the food which is passing through the oropharynx, and the lateral surface which is facing towards the lateral side and will be related to various spaces, muscles and other structures. The space outside or lateral to the lateral surface between the mucous membrane of the of the oral cavity and the lateral surface of the tonsil, that space is called as peritonsillar space. So the surfaces are two, medial surface and the lateral surface, and the space outside the lateral surface, that is lateral to the lateral surface, that space is called as peritonsillar space. A bit of details about medial surface which you might have learned also in the histology lecture, that there are 12 to 15 crypts which are going inside, or which are, we can say, invaginating inside the tonsil, and out of them in the upper part there is one larger crypt. That larger crypt is called as intratonsillar cleft or crypta magna. Now this crypt is important because sometimes we might experience that when we eat food, after intake of foods, after a few days, sometimes we find that there is some material impacted inside on our tonsil. So that impacted food particles in the tonsil is nothing but it is present within the intratonsillar cleft. That's why it is very much important, and the food particle can be removed also from that cleft. And more importantly, which you already learned in your histology lecture, the surface, medial surface of the tonsil is lined by an epithelium, that is non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, which is a protective epithelium. So that is about the medial surface. Apart from that, there are some other important features, like the lower end, or you can say lower pole of the tonsil is separated from the tongue by a sulcus that is called as the tonsillolingual sulcus. Similarly, on the anteroinferior aspect of the palatoglossal fold, there is a small space between the tonsil and the anteroinferior aspect of the tonsil. That part is called as the anterior tonsillar space. Coming to the relations, now the relations, as we already see, the apex is related with the the upper pole is related with the apex of the tonsillar fossa. The lower pole is separated from the tongue by tonsillolingual sulcus. The medial surface is free, it is communicating with the oral cavity. The lateral surface, which is the most important area or surface, which is related with different structures. So the relations of the tonsil can be described into two parts. First, the tonsillar bed, and then the other lateral relations of the tonsil. So first we begin with the tonsillar bed. From inside to out, or from medial to lateral side, the structures are pharyngobasilar fascia, palatopharyngeus muscle, superior constrictor muscle, the buccopharyngeal fascia, styloglossus and glossopharyngeal nerve. These are the structures forming the tonsillar bed. Different books are mentioning some variation in the number of structures in the tonsillar bed, but we can cover up, or you can say summarize all in this form. That is, from medial to lateral, it is pharyngobasilar fascia, palatopharyngeus muscle, superior constrictor muscle, buccopharyngeal fascia, styloglossus and glossopharyngeal nerve. About these fascias and the various muscles, you will be coming up or learning it more in the lecture of pharyngeal wall. So now if you want to show it, this is the tonsil, this is the peritonsillar space, and this vein is called as the peritonsillar vein. And outside this now, outside the soft palate, the mucous membrane of the oral cavity, now we have got various structures which are forming the lateral relations of the tonsil as well as the part of the tonsillar bed. So the first one, this which is marked by a green here, this is the pharyngobasilar fascia. Outside it, lateral to it, this is a muscle. This muscle which is here is the superior constrictor. In the upper part here, apart from superior constrictor, we will have the muscle palatopharyngeus also. Then lateral to it, the dotted line which is shown by the green color here, that is the buccopharyngeal fascia. Then outside it, we have got these two structures, one yellow and another brown structure. So this yellow is the nerve, that is the ninth cranial nerve, and the muscle is styloglossus. So the structures forming the tonsillar bed as shown in this diagram are the pharyngobasilar fascia, superior constrictor, buccopharyngeal fascia, ninth cranial nerve, that is the glossopharyngeal nerve, and styloglossus. Apart from this, as I said, we can also have some other structures related laterally to the tonsils, which you can see here. One is this structure which is a part of a bone. This is a muscle attached on the medial aspect of the bone. There is one artery and there is one gland. So which are, and also lateral, in the upper part of the lateral aspect of the buccopharyngeal fascia, we have got a venous plexus. So which are they? The first one, the blue colored, that is the pterygoid venous plexus. The word you might have come across in the infratemporal region. That is the pterygoid venous plexus. Then this bony part is the angle of mandible, and the muscle which is attached to the inner aspect or the medial aspect of the angle of mandible is medial pterygoid. So here this is the medial pterygoid, and below it the artery which is curving around the lower part of the or the base of the mandible, which you already have learned in the various places in the various lectures of head and neck. That is the facial artery, and the gland which is present in through which this facial artery is passing. If you remember the submandibular region, that gland is the submandibular salivary gland. So to sum up, the relations, or you can say the lateral relations of the tonsils can be summarized as the pharyngobasilar fascia, the palatopharyngeus muscle in the upper part, the superior constrictor in the remaining 2/3 part, then the buccopharyngeal fascia, then we have got the pterygoid venous plexus, facial artery, glossopharyngeal nerve, styloglossus muscle, the submandibular salivary gland, the angle of mandible, and the muscle medial to it, that is the medial pterygoid. So this is about the various relations of the tonsil. The remaining part of the tonsil we will cover in the second segment.